I'm not saying that the Artemis 2 mission is being faked, but what I am saying, and emphatically, is I'm underwhelmed right now. I was really excited for some cool stuff. And I've seen about 10 still photographs, just static images that look slightly better than the ones taken in 1969. Apparently from the exact same spot. They have a spot they like. They like to take a picture with the Earth about that big. And then they don't take any other pictures. And what an opportunity to really stick it to the flat earthers, except for every still image makes the Earth kind of look like a flat disc.
All right, so we got to talk about this, the Artemis 2 mission. So many conspiracy theories out there, we got to dissect them. And I want to hear your comments down below. This was a missed opportunity by the federal government to like put some legitimacy behind a lot of this stuff. And I'm going to tell you my thoughts, good, bad, ugly, maybe in left field. Let's get down to it. Why couldn't we have just got GoPros all over it?
You're doing that. I don't need an interview with the crew telling me how they eat soup out of a pouch. Take the camera to the window and shut up and just let me see it. I don't know, why isn't there something mounted on the outside that just constantly gives me video of the Earth? Show me something with movement. Show me weather patterns moving on the Earth. Show me rotation of the Earth, zoomed out so you can see the entire sphere rotate. You really want to blow my mind? Show me some upside down flying planes. That's what Daddy wants to see. A skyline of a major city. Yes. Upside down with planes flying like that. That's all I want. And I'm getting none of that. And I suspect I will get none of that either. And we don't know what's real or what's fake. So I don't know why anyone's excited about anything they're seeing. This is so disappointing.
I mean, we shouldn't have to figure this out ourselves. I mean, the technology is there to literally have a lens, because it's on a spaceship, that could zoom all the way in back to Earth, okay? And why couldn't it be live streamed? Why is there not GoPros 360 around that bad boy? Why does the astronauts not have body cameras on them? Like, why is it not live streamed from beginning to end? Like, we have these capabilities. Heck, they could have even put ads on the live streams to help pay for the mission. Let me tell you, sponsorships on the side of that thing would have paid for the thing to go to the moon and back. I mean, I watched the CIA give a brief about how they were able to algorithmically track the heartbeat of the pilot on the ground to find his location. But you tell me we can't put one on that space shuttle to track it, go across the, from here to the moon? Why can't we drop a rover on the moon like we can the Mars that looks back at the Earth? Live view while we're spinning around that bad boy. Or it's spinning around us. So many questions. I mean, we see footage like this of the moon. And I'm sitting here thinking, is this what we're really here for? Or is it for the ore that I can see blaring back at me from all these meteorites and asteroids that had hit this thing for 1 billion years that could change the metallic atmosphere? I mean, the riches of ore on that moon is insane, okay? And it's not for that. It's not to check on the Chinese that are on the other side of this bad boy that all of a sudden inserted themselves into the Iranian deal a couple nights ago, the same time that the shuttle was going on the dark side of the moon to interrupt whatever they got going on over there. Too many things align. Let's get down to it.
NASA.
The crew of the Artemis 2 has captured some incredible views of Earth.
They've used the very same clouds in both of these images. It's supposed to be Africa by day and night with exactly the same angle, so about 12 hours later, and the clouds haven't moved. Because these aren't photos, they are computer-generated images, just like all images of the globe. So either NBC made a mistake in choosing the graphic designer, or it's intentional to test us, as it's stated on this NASA reel. And why are they showing us Earth so slowly? Why not film everything? Think about it for a second. A skydiver comes back with hundreds of photos. GoPro on his helmet, a 360 camera in hand, 8K video at 120 frames per second. But when it comes to Artemis, we're back in the 70s with blurry, choppy images, 4 frames per second, as if NASA didn't have the budget for a $400 GoPro. They lost the technology and never found it again.
Problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore.
And when they go live, it's a fixed shot, no outside view. Once they think it's not rolling, you see them waiting for instructions from someone backstage. And yes, don't forget they're in a studio. To avoid showing you the view, they'll distract you by talking about problems of toilet.
I heard that there was a little bit of an issue with the toilet.
Or perhaps playing with their mascot, which they call ZGI. Perhaps that's a hint for CGI. So at this point, if you still believe in this whole spectacle, it's high time you started some serious deprogramming.
So he got fact checked on this one. And this is the good thing about the internet. The internet will fact check you, whether it's NASA or a creator. And right here, I guess the images were 2 and they were taken at minutes apart. So that explains that first one. The others, I think we're gonna have to dive deeper. I will say that when I watched the interview of the crew, the language they used was terrible. They baked right into these conspiracy theories, and they seemed so dramatic, like a drone, saying like what a pilot would, that there was no personality in this. And I will say, I think that this mission had multiple missions inside of it. I mean, it would have to be worth going up there. I think it's for the ore. I think it's to see if we can do it. And I think it's to check on whoever's on the dark side of the moon mining ore. Probably the Chinese. Don't get mad at me. But I think that they don't want this live streamed because of what they're going to do while they're up there. They want to be able to break contact. And I would say just put a beacon on them to where literally we can see them going, and you can take a big telescope and see them going towards the moon. Like, we have that capability. And see them as they lose themselves on the other side of the moon. I mean, we can zoom in on the moon. If we can take a picture through the Hubble telescope of something in a galaxy far, far away, we can see the moon. And why can't we see the moon better? So many questions. If this is the bottom of this rabbit hole, and they have spent this much money on this, everybody at NASA should be fired. Everybody at the White House involved in this should be fired, and every DOD dude that's involved in this should be fired if this is all we got for our money. I'm just saying that there's no excuse why we can't land on that bad boy, set up a doggone eyeball staring back at us that can see a dude in Siberia from the moon. Okay, like, why can't we see planes going across the globe? Why aren't they zooming in with a humongous telescope all the way to see a dude standing on a mountain somewhere? We can do that from our satellites right here. I mean, we can see a doggone license plate from outer space on the Earth. But we can't do that to the moon where there's not even atmosphere involved? Come on, man.
A new moon mission has brought new conspiracy theories. 4 astronauts on NASA's Artemis 2 spaceflight have made history by travelling further from Earth than any other humans. Now, the internet thinks it's found proof it was actually all filmed on a green screen. But when we put these pictures through Google's SynthID watermark detector, we found they were made with Google AI. We've also seen this video going viral. It's a snippet of a CNN interview with the 4 astronauts filmed on a mobile phone off a TV screen. In the video, you can see letters appearing on this floating toy, and that's fueled the green screen theories. But in reality, none of that appears in the original footage. We spoke to the BBC's operations team, who say this is likely just a TV graphics glitch where on-screen text has accidentally been layered behind the footage when it was broadcast on TV. And what about this video, claiming to show a spacewalk is fake because the astronaut has 3 legs? Well, it's a Facebook page that clearly says it posts AI-generated space fantasies. A new moon mission has brought new...
So I think all those were fake. Okay, I watched them as they came out on the internet. It didn't even fool me, and I ain't that great at spotting AI, you know? But I will say, all they had to do was put a live view 360 camera in the cockpit. Turn the bad boy on, let them go do their interview so you can see the behind the scenes and the for the scenes, and just live stream the thing. Like, live stream it. But I know the government doesn't want that because they've got some top secret mission I'm sure they're going to do here. But to solve some of these questions, they could have built in some things that we could, through science, say they're for sure there. And I did see where supposedly they zoomed in on where the old rover ran around on the moon. I'm pretty sure that was true. I'm still on the fence on if that was AI too, because you can see the tracks. But why couldn't they have took a footage, zoomed all the way in real time so we know there's not a cut, all the way to the rover and see there it is, there's the flag, that's where we used to be, problem solved. Or like I said, just drop a rover out there that looks at the Earth and tracks it with a GPS beacon, like some type of trackable beacon. Or if you want to get really sexy with it, put a laser on the doggone shuttle that could beam back to a point of origin, which I guess you could say that's the radio antenna, and line them up, live stream that bad boy, prove the math, and we can all stop arguing about this stuff. And if you've got something you're trying to say, just say in the description box below, okay, you know, the link below, here's the math how we got there. And you can go TikTokers, YouTubers, Instagram, prove to everybody else, do the math. That's where we got. Just open source it. It's very simple. Open source it.
The new moon mission has brought new conspiracy.
After the first in the exact same position, 12 hours later at nighttime, with the exact same cloud patterns. And this is the Artemis 2 halfway to the moon. Yeah, propelling through the void of outer space, which is impossible. And they were halfway. Look at the size of the moon when you're on Earth. Like, just go outside and look right now. Do you see the size comparison? How are they halfway to the moon, but it's way, way, way smaller than it would be if you're on Earth, when you're further away from the moon when you're on Earth? And look at this video. The Artemis 2 launching, it literally looks like the Artemis 2 crew is ziplining out of the rocket.
I want to know what you think down below on this one. You know, the one with the moon looking really far away, I would think that is the lens on the camera. As somebody that takes a lot of video with cameras, depends on what you're shooting it with, and you're not blasting through space. I think he's doing satire here. You're actually slingshotted through space, I'm guessing. And because I saw they slingshotted around the Earth and they slingshotted around the moon, and that gave them the velocity to come back, and they did do a tad boost. But you got to be careful with some of these conspiracy theories. I just think I would like to know if you know more about the moon being small down below. But I think that's the camera lens.
Comparing the photos,
like a GoPro or like a wide angle lens.
Like comparing the photos of Earth from the Artemis photo shoot to a photo shoot that was taken 54 years ago from the Apollo 17 mission. And people are wondering what is going on, because Earth looks completely washed out versus the photo from 54 years ago looks rich in color and absolutely beautiful. People think that something bad has happened to our planet. But what really is going on is the Apollo 17 used actual film cameras, which naturally boost the color and contrast, and the Artemis team decided to use a Nikon D5 digital camera. So it's just not going to give it the same color and look. And when they took that shot 54 years ago, the sun was perfectly lighting Earth, making it look beautiful and blue. Whereas the Artemis photo was taken at an angle where the sun was actually partially behind Earth, kind of washes it out a little bit. And since the Artemis has been posting photos from space, a lot of photos that look like this of the moon are being posted by different photographers that make it look absolutely delicious. But they are real photos that have been altered, and we are still waiting for the actual photos from the Artemis of the moon, which will take place on April 6th during a planned multi-hour lunar flyby of the moon's surface. That people are comparing the photos of Earth from the Artemis photos.
I don't think it was the camera, but I just wish the government was a little more forthcoming so we could tell, why isn't it a full high definition video with it spinning? Why is it always questionable? There should be no question. There should be a camera on the tail of that thing, on the front of that thing, on the bottom of that thing. almost like you're living in the image. I know they can do this.
To the moon out of nowhere. This moon mission is not random. The moon is believed to have uranium, potassium, phosphorus, water ice, platinum group metals,
It's true.
which is helium-3, which is a rare isotope that has potential applications to nuclear fusion
One
energy.
space shuttle of helium-3 could power the country for a year. Go listen to, there's a 4-star general from the Air Force gave a speech on the economics of space. Go watch that and your mind will blow the roof off your head when you see how much money is in a geological map of the moon. Staggering!
See, scientists believe that the moon's craters alone hold over $1 trillion worth of metals like platinum, palladium, rhodium, and osmium. And don't come for me on my pronunciation because I'm not a scientist. I don't know how these are said. But these are all metals that are heavily used for industrial purposes here on Earth. So billionaire companies are already mapping ways that they can extract and transport back to Earth helium-3. They're developing robots, solar-powered units for excavation, and they plan to use AI controlling systems. One billionaire's private space company called Interloon has already raised $34 million towards excavating and extracting and returning to Earth helium-3, commercializing it. Now, China aims to successfully have a human lunar landing by 2030. And they want to establish, in partnership with Russia, an international lunar research center by 2035. Then Australia has a 2026 rover that they are going to try to use to extract oxygen and collect soil. And then we have Japan, their research focus on precision landing in mineral-rich areas of the lunar surface. Now, the 1967 Outer Space Treaty says that space cannot be subject to national appropriation, but there's a lot of debate around whether or not that applies to private extraction studies and programs. And then the 1979 Moon Agreement tried to designate lunar resources as common heritage of mankind, and many powerful nations refused to sign that agreement. The agreement that would have made all lunar resources belong to all humans, all mankind, womankind, but all of humanity. That was not an accident. That was very much on purpose. So is this mission to the moon only about exploiting its surface resources and excavating them and returning them to Earth, or is it about space exploration? Either way, this mission to the moon was anything but random.
You know, that court case, they basically said everything belongs to mankind. But I've always said, and I said it on this channel, there will be a war over the moon. Just like in that movie, what was the one with Kurt Russell, where there was the war over the moon? That's going to happen, okay? And the Chinese are already there. And the fact that we're not with a space base, because it's only 3 days away, 5 days away, however you want to skin the turnip, that we don't have there with guns pointed out, staggering. They blow more money doing a train track across California than to set up a moon base. You know, it's like some of this stuff is just crazy. And the amount of resources and minerals, and if you want to do any type of specialized science that needs a vacuum or a data center that needs to be cool, like, you could do so much. I mean, look at SpaceX and Starlink. I mean, heck, you got an internet hookup right there. Just shine the thing the other way. I don't know. Comments down below. It's just like a dude that really knows nothing sitting on a couch he got at a garage sale trying to talk about space.
Astronauts are not even going to the moon. They're just flying around it. Like, literally, this whole Artemis 2 mission right now is literally just a test flight for another future flight to the moon where they actually land on the moon. Right now, they're just flying by the moon. They're going around the moon to see the dark side, whatever it may be. A part of me feels like they're going to the dark side of the moon to see what's actually over there so then they can try and whatever. If that's even what's happening. You know what I mean? Because I honestly feel weird about moon landings and going to the moon and anything like that. Like, my mind is just like not really necessarily believing any of it. But it's like, if they actually are going to the moon and this is really what's happening, they're not going to the moon for real right now. They're literally just flying around it because it's a test flight. So imagine all of the probably billions of dollars that were used by tax-paying dollars in order to get these people into space, allegedly, to go around the moon, allegedly, and they're not even landing there. They're not doing anything with the moon, not touching it. All they're going to do is simply see it with their eyes, allegedly, possibly, maybe. Because again, I still feel weird about moon landings in the first place. I'm like, why did it take so long to get back out there? Why was it too expensive to get back out there, but then now we can just go all willy-nilly? And it's like we're literally funding multiple different countries while at the same time being in a war and a conflict where more billions of dollars are being used. And then at the same time, we can have astronauts go see the moon for a test flight, mind you. So they're going to have to do all of this over again, which means there's going to be billions of dollars put back into this situation in order for them to repeat what's going on right now. Like, this situation is not making enough sense to me. The timing of it all, and like the alien disclosure and aliens.gov and like everything currently going on. Like, this is just really a lot. Like, this is just for entertainment purposes only, but like, imagine something happening to those astronauts in space once they see the dark side of the moon. Like, imagine everything starts freaking out after that point, and then we have a bunch of chaos, allegedly, possibly, in my opinion.
But I'm just thinking about it rationally. Like, why is this such a problem? Get a smart dude, give him a bunch of weed, tell him to get us to the moon. We get up there, we mine the crap out of it, and we pull everybody out of poverty, and we get rid of some debt on the country, and maybe some kids get to eat. You know, maybe some free health care because there's a lot of gold or palladium or helium-3 or some garbage sitting on the moon. Okay? And then, like, maybe we can make some better fiber optic cables for the, you know, at the International Space Station instead of letting it like fall back to Earth or something. I mean, like, let's think about how to make money up there. Don't get me started. I mean, why can't we run ads on the side of the NASA space shuttle to pay for its way there? Can you imagine how much some of these companies would pay to have a live stream footage of the shuttle with a giant like NASCAR sticker on the side of it, maybe 50 or 100 that are all paying for the fuel. They get a little advertising. We get a free ride there. And we pay for some crap instead of funding 3 or 4 wars, entitlement programs that are running into the ground because of politicians, and a housing crisis. Maybe that money all comes back to us instead of burning it in outer space on a test run. Or, here's a fun fact, we don't even need people on the shuttle. We put some robots on the shuttle that we don't have to keep alive, and that would solve like 45% of the problems on the space shuttle, like the toilet going bad. And don't get me started on the toilet going bad. Right at the same time, the Iran war was about to take it to the next level, and they have a deal all at the same time. We're talking about the space shuttle's pooper going out. Also, why can't they, just bag it up and throw it out the window like we did in the gun trucks in the old days? Why are we talking about an old device called a toilet going out on a space shuttle? I don't know. Comment down below.
This is proof that nobody ever went to the moon. Here we go again. To travel to the moon, astronauts would have had to pass through the Van Allen belts. Correct. The Van Allen belt is a zone of charged particles around Earth. Yep. Well, the Van Allen belt can get up to 20,000 degrees Kelvin, which is like 35,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Well, sure, particles in the belt could reach that high, but the entire belt wouldn't necessarily be that temperature. The Apollo spacecraft was protected by aluminum, which has a melting point of less than 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit, so if it went to the moon, it would have literally melted on the way there. Well, it depends on where in the spacecraft. The heat shield was very complex with many layers and many different materials, so this wasn't just aluminum foil wrapped around the spacecraft. So, space is still pretty much a vacuum, so even though some particles might reach an energy, a heat of 20,000 Kelvin, and that is the extreme for the belt, there aren't actually a ton of particles. What I'm saying is, while these tiny particles might be very hot, the spacecraft did not encounter them all that often, but it still traveled through those temperatures. Not really. Again, you're using the really bad extremes, and also, the Van Allen belt is a belt. You can go around the really bad parts. This is the path the Apollo astronauts took, so while they did still go through it, they avoided the really bad parts, and they were going extremely fast, so they were there for like an hour.
I mean, see, if they would have showed us that with the direct math, comments down below, like, Here's the link, here's the math, here's the beacon on the nose of the doggone space shuttle and how they went through it. Oh, here's a camera version of us going through this bad boy. Everybody would shut up, you know? Like, just put a tracker on the bad boy. And people would understand this stuff. It's the delivery method of whoever is the PAO of the doggone NASA program or in the federal government, fire that guy. Or whatever politician's over it, because there's a better way to deliver this information, and you can even keep it secret. It doesn't have to be like, oh, we can't tell them that.
And what about the radiation? You're saying those astronauts were totally fine? Oh, the astronauts were definitely still exposed to radiation. All astronauts in space are. It's a risk of the job. But the spacecraft did do a pretty good job at shielding them from radiation. The highest amount of radiation any astronaut on an Apollo mission received was on Apollo 14, and it was about equivalent to the amount you would get from a full-body CT scan. But still, NASA is working to make it even safer now. That is so ridiculous.
Yeah, again, we don't need to send people there. We can send robots. I mean, heck, one of them bad boys that Elon Musk rolled out the other day, put one of those in that thing, let him fly around, shine some cameras, do some math, and land the bad boy on the moon. Okay? You probably would need half the payload capacity if you sent robots, small ones, instead of people that are big and need poopers and sanitation systems and air systems and all that stuff. Oh no, it's Nick. Comment down below. Did we go? Did we not? Are these conspiracy theories valid? Or are they not? Because I think this video needed to be made. But don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment down below. And if you're looking to buy or sell real estate on the Gulf Coast of Florida or Alabama, I'd be happy to help you. Need an agent anywhere in the country, I can help you with that one too. And my network. But this video needed to be talked about. See you guys later.